Oh, hi, we're live. Okay, getting the intro out. Hi, Richard. Bye, Richard. Here we go. This happened.
Nominate a series of reforms that we'll introduce to the New South Wales Parliament on Monday in a few days' time. Firstly, the government will act to ensure that we restrict the authorisation of public assemblies during high-risk times like when there is a terrorist event in New South Wales. When a terrorist incident is formally declared under the Terrorism Police Powers Act, the Police Commissioner or Deputy Commissioner of Police, with the agreement of the Minister for Police, will be able to declare a specific area where the public assemblies are restricted for a period of time. A public assembly restriction declaration. That might be any part of the state or all over the state. No public assemblies in the designated area will be able to be authorised, including by a court. Police will have access to existing powers to move people on where their behaviour presents or causes harassment or intimidation or obstructs traffic. We hope this will be a strong signal to the community that assemblies in public spaces in a designated area are unsafe or discouraged during a period of mourning or division or terrorism. And these measures, we believe, are targeted. Now, just to give you the specifics of it, a declaration must be called within 14 days of a terrorism designation being reached under the Police Powers Act. It will then be in order for 14 days, but can be extended for a further 14 days up to a period of 3 months. And this is obviously extraordinary powers not seen before in any jurisdiction in the country. We anticipate that the Police Minister and the Police Commissioner will designate that order once the legislation has passed the New South Wales Parliament, so as the government can deliver on our promise and I think the public's expectation that we can have a summer of calm rather than one of division and hatred and protest. These are important changes, but they're necessary, we believe, to live up to the #1 priority of any government in office, the #1 priority for any political leader, any government or any parliament, and that is to protect its citizens.
What they believe. Know what you stand for, know what you stand against, and have the courage to take that stance. That's why I'm making this video. I don't normally speak on politics. As a matter of fact, I never speak on politics. I focus on what I can control. I let go of what I can't. What I can control is how I respond to situations. What I can control is what I do to make a difference in the world, to help other men be better, to help other men lead their families, lead their communities, lead their businesses better. But it's time to stop being quiet about things that are happening in our country. Time to stop being quiet about things that people complain about behind closed doors, but then don't have the guts to speak about openly. It's time to speak. Thoughts, prayers go out to all of the families that were affected by the shootings 2 days ago in Bondi. Such a terrible, fucking catastrophic, unthinkable event. But it's not unthinkable because it just happened. It just happened. And there's got to be people held accountable for this. And it's not just the 2 shooters. It's the people that we have elected to protect our country, to make our country better, to at very least maintain our freedoms, maintain our quality of life. Yet they allowed this to happen because they ignored the threats. They ignored the protests. They ignored the hate speech. These people are employed with our taxpayers' dollars to protect our freedoms, to protect our country, and they failed. They're incompetent. And if I'm being honest, my beliefs are, no conspiracy theories about it, they're corrupt. There's obviously, to anyone with any common sense, an agenda behind all of this. Not saying they had a direct play in what happened at Bondi, but they indirectly allowed it to happen. They're employed to keep us safe, yet they've allowed the very things that keep us unsafe into our country. And then Albanese wants to speak about tightening gun laws as if guns are the problem. No, you're the problem. You're the problem for allowing immigration laws to be so fucking weak that we allow these people to stay in our country. They clearly don't even fucking like our country. Hate speech towards our country, towards our flag. You know what? That's my fucking flag. See that back there? That's my flag. And that's every other Australian's flag. And yeah, I'm fucking patriotic. Because this is my country, and my little boy's growing up into this country. My little boy has to grow up into this world. And if men don't stand up and speak their mind and have their say, what the fuck are we giving to our children? What does that say to our children? Don't let these politicians ruin our country any longer. Don't let them deflect by making stronger laws, taking our freedoms away, allowing freedom to people that are the actual danger in this country. The real danger are those politicians. So it's time to do something about it. Speak up. I'm not inciting violence by any means. But if you need to protect yourself, you fucking protect yourself. Be safe out there, Aussies. I stand for Australia. I stand for that flag right there. Let's fucking make it great again. Because the current politicians obviously don't give a shit about it. They don't give a shit about you. So it's time to stand up. Vote of no confidence. Fucking get them out and get someone in that can actually take action and do something about this mess that our politicians have created. No more corruption, no more fucking spending taxpayers' dollars and rorting our system, yet if we did the same thing, we'd be in jail straight away. What a fucking joke our country's become. What a joke our politicians are. It's time to stand up. Let me know what you think down in the comments.
Democracy doesn't exist. Fluoride isn't for your teeth, it's for your brain, because when you consume it, you become extremely controllable. Injections don't save lives, they ruin them. Education doesn't make people smarter, it makes them indoctrinated. Doctors don't know about health, they only know about drugs, and the sun isn't the enemy, sunscreen is. Everything that we have been taught is complete garbage. If we want to live healthy and fulfilling lives, we need to ignore the experts and focus on reducing our exposure to toxicity and getting in alignment with nature.
Okay, I was going to play a song there called Always Believe in Love before I brought in my next guest, but I think those 3 posts will be enough. And here he is. How you doing?
Good, mate. And I don't believe in love, mate. No, not this week. Not this week.
I know.
It's not.
Well,
it's
we
not
can
the week
agree
for
to
love,
disagree.
mate.
We can agree to disagree.
Love has had
It's,
the week off, mate.
What do you think about the New South Wales government bringing in these new laws? There's 2 weeks to flatten the terrorism curve.
2 weeks to flatten the terrorism curve. Well, we've heard that before, haven't we, mate? You know, look, it was a terrible event, obviously. You know, that happened, but it was to be expected. You know, I mean, this is, you know, they flood our countries with people who hate us, and then they act surprised.
Yeah.
When they just behave in the way that they behave in their own countries. You know, I mean, this whole war in the Middle East with, you know, Israel and the Palestinians, which obviously is really Israel versus the larger Muslim world. Not every Muslim country feels that way, but most of them do, to be perfectly honest. And, you know, there's a lot of animosity out there. And this seems to be, well, you know, like the whole, you know, Northern Ireland situation calmed down at the end of the 90s. I was hopeful at the time that the Israel-Palestine thing would probably, you know, maybe calm down soon afterwards within 5 years, but obviously that's 25 years ago now. So, you know...
Can I just play you something to do with that? This is
Sure.
just to help with what you're doing. This is from the top Islamic cleric in Australia.
The Grand Mufti, the top Muslim cleric in Australia today, just 10 years ago was hanging out with Hamas, saying that he had come to the land of jihad to learn from the sons of jihad. What are you going to learn from them? Algebra, mathematics, what?
That guy's kind of interesting. He's a Zionist stooge. You know, he's paid, you know, to kind of attack other Muslim groups and speakers. Now, I'm not going to support these various Muslim groups and speakers because there is a lot wrong with them. You know what I mean? And sometimes someone like this, I might even agree with what they have to say. But you know, it's this whole situation seems, you know, very how would you describe it? Like a piece of theatre. You know what I mean? Like it's you know, it's just extremely strange. To some extent, both sides are controlled because it's not really hard to find a group of Muslims. I mean, if you've got billions and billions of dollars, you know, and to fund them, you know, out of some place like Qatar or some place like this, and you know, and you get them to attack yourself. You know, I'm not saying that's what happened on you know, last week. Obviously, you know, the two things that were happening, you know, it's either what it appears to be, which is an organic attack. You know, obviously targeting a Jewish event on Bondi Beach. But I think more than obviously, you know, that it was an attack upon Bondi Beach itself. Bondi Beach is the most famous beach in the world. It's a great symbol of Australia. It's where everybody who comes to Australia for tourism wants to go to. So the image of this country has been tarnished terribly by this event. You know, so it's a national tragedy. You know, I've been to Bondi at least 20 times. I've walked across that bridge. You know, there's a lot of great restaurants. There's some nice bookstores in the area. It's a lovely place, very relaxed. Nothing like this has ever happened. I mean, in the Australia I grew up in, this is just not on the cards because we're not involved in the Gaza Israel conflict. No matter what you think of it, it's over there. You know what I mean? You can take your different. I know friends of mine are on the Israeli side. I know friends of mine who are on the Gazan side. And I know friends of mine who are more like myself, really not on any side. It's like, as Sam Newman has said to me, I don't have a horse in the race. We don't. Most Aussies don't have a horse in this race, but we're being dragged into it. You know what I mean? And you'll be seeing that at the moment, because what do you get from the Labor Party? The Labor Party's reaction after there's a radical Muslim attack, they say, oh, the problem is the far right. The far right? The far right have done nothing. They spent the last 3 months, they kicked some guy who attended a neo-Nazi rally, some guy they kicked out to South Africa. That's what they're concentrating on. They arrested this guy, Joel Davis. He's connected to that same group. They've arrested the Thomas Sewell guy 2 or 3 times. Damo, they, have been harassing over some joke he made at an event a year and a half ago, whatever it was. It's just ridiculous what's been happening out there.
Hey.
There you are. I was worried, mate.
I just got to say that it's been working constantly all day, and now suddenly it's not working.
It could be worse.
Yeah, but I do have some things to bring up and show you.
All right,
because this is from England.
Yeah,
I'm going to do my best to get an answer, but I'm not sure I'm going to get one based on the 2 we've just heard. Without any kind of mandate, the government wants to do away with jury trials, and it wants to extend the powers of magistrates to sentence people for up to 2 years without any right to appeal, conviction or sentence. Can she confirm that last year, of 5,000 cases appealed from magistrates' courts, more than 40% were upheld? Is it the government's policy to simply live with this number of miscarriages of justice?
Yeah, I mean, this is this hate speech stuff you're seeing, that they want to push in Australia. I mean, obviously, you and I would be in jail if we lived in the United Kingdom.
Yeah. Well,
no doubt.
It's going to happen here, man. We just,
and they want to bring that in here.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, they do.
And they're sending people to jail for like 2 tweets that reach 33 people. They get 2 years in jail. I mean, this is look, the problem is the government is criminal. And this is exactly a carry on from what we saw under COVID, mate. The government is behaving in a criminal manner. And then anyone who notices or complains, they're shutting up. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And, this is why, look, I'm about 50-50 in relation to Bondi, whether it was what it appears to be, because it could well have been. Or
I agree.
Or is it some kind of false flag where, I don't know, there's been different... We don't even know to go into the details, but we all know how false flags are done. There are ways to do it. Intelligence agencies.
Can we talk about that? Because there's a madness to people. I'm sorry. People are going, oh, it was all actors. No one got shot. They all acted.
Yeah. That's crazy. That's crazy.
Although this is funny. Now,
well, I think he deserves it. He deserves it. Best crisis actor. And look, it was a tough year this year. And I think he earned it, that Mr. Ostrowski. Look, he put in a stellar effort on the day.
I do.
No, tough competition. Seriously. It was a tough year. It was a tough year, a lot of competition, mate. And look, he took the brass ring, and I'd just like to salute his family, and I'll be going to hang out with his rabbi later and congratulate him. So,
But could it be conceivable that you basically set up the environment?
I think that guy is suspicious. I think the event happened, obviously, right? The event happened, and innocent people. But that particular guy was very strange. Whether he was legitimately injured or not, in a sense, that's what I would call oversourcing. You know what I mean? Like, when you've got, say, a French cook, he adds too much sauce, it's too rich. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, the attack itself was so deeply shocking, you didn't need somebody there from Israel who had just so happened to have survived October 7. If you want to go and find out, you put this into ChatGPT, what are the odds of surviving 2 terrorist attacks, one on October 7 and one at Bondi Beach? A couple of friends of mine have already done it. It's something like 1 in a trillion. That's about winning. that's like winning.
But then at the same time, too,
5 times
to counterbalance that, surely if there was some apparatus behind all this, they would go, mate, you were there. No one's going to believe you're there. No. We need new faces.
Well, it's strange.
Can I tell you,
I think we're dumb. Yeah, go ahead.
Well, we are a little dumb because when they had the stabbing in Bondi, where that guy went nuts and started stabbing people,
Yes.
people were going, it's all actors. And I was going,
Yep.
okay, let's just think about that on a common sense level. Now you've got all these people running around who are not in on it. So
Yep.
you've got to have your actors who can act within these people who don't realize they're in a movie.
Yeah.
Then you have to find actors who are incredibly brilliant, who can act basically ad lib on the spot, who can deal with high octane situations, and yet no one's ever seen or heard of them. And after this is their only gig, and they get no credit.
Well, they get paid a lot, I imagine. But look, the interesting thing about that guy who got shot is that, if you and I had been there and got shot in the head, first of all, even if we had some triage at the scene, we'd be like, please take me to hospital, because you never know. You know what I mean? Shot in the head. They've been shot in the head. Your first thought is, no, I'm not going on camera.
Let me.
The guy had got on camera.
I've been shot in the head. Go for hospital.
That's right. If the guy had, and also he'd been shot in the head and he takes a selfie on the ground, that was just odd. It was very strange, and that to me is oversourcing the meal. You know what I mean?
Well, shats up though. The fact that he knew he could remember his code to get into the phone
right.
probably made him think, "Hey, I'm still alive." So
that's it. No, I think that they went a bit too far there. And look, I actually watched it all live. You know what I mean? Because when these events happen, you want to sort of catch them out. And when I saw that guy, I immediately went, "Hang on a minute." Anybody like that? It was within the hour they had him on TV of the shooting being, and I thought anyone would be rushed to hospital. That was strange. And then obviously I didn't know anything more than, why is he being interviewed with this weird bandage on his head? You know what I mean? And then there were a few other ones. There was there's some young woman who had been a witness to it all, and she was like a model, and they had her on television for about 20 minutes, and you'll never see her again. But I thought her story was very strange. It seemed crisis actory. But I would say that the majority of the event is real, of course, and now, it looks like the heroic guy, the guy who saved the day, he was real.
I haven't heard this bit. I heard the guy interviewed. He said he took the photo and sent his wife, "I love you," not knowing whether it'd be last message to her.
Yeah, well,
he want to make sure she loved him, because she might go, "Yes."
Yes, that's right. Got rid of
House
that
is mine.
That's right. Maybe she's behind it. You know what I mean?
Or his brother.
Well, they blame Iran. They're blaming Iran already. I mean, you can see that coming a mile off. There's all this stuff, where they want to make certain phrases illegal. Now,
never let a crisis.
I'm not. I'm sure you know.
Look at our friend Damo.
That's
Look
right.
at our friend Damo. Perfect.
Wasn't that ridiculous?
All the money they've spent trying to convict Damo, who was making a theatrical point because he's an artist. And so he was absolutely legitimately allowed to do it, and he was completely right. He wasn't joining any party or anything. He was just making a point.
Now
and
think
they spent
about
all
this.
this money trying to convict him. And these guys who are on an ASIO watch list with Arsenal in the house, no, we don't have the money for you because we're trying to get Damien Richardson. He's endangering society. Do you see what he does? He's not just changing light bulbs when he puts his hand up like that. He's trying to intimidate us.
I know. So, the government, the last 3-4 months, they've spent most of their time in relation to national security, pursuing this network of 100 people, which is the National Socialist Network. Joel Davis, they deported that guy to South Africa. Thomas Sowell. This group has never committed a terrorist attack. The most they've done is get into fights with Antifa at some of these anti-immigration rallies. That's it. They're not a threat to national security. They're basically just a bunch of patriots. Now, a lot of people might not agree with the radicality of some of their thinking, but I think they have the right to have those opinions if they wish to. And, it's like there's nothing wrong with it at all. And yet they spent, I don't know how many untold man hours pursuing this group, and yet nothing in these radical mosques. And we all know, look, believe me, you think those neo-Nazis dislike Jews, go talk to any Muslim and ask them off the record what they think of Jews. Believe me, they make Nazis look like they love them. Most Muslims do not like Jews, and we have about 1 million of them in this country at the moment. And they blame September 11 on them. They say October the 7th was false flag, blah, blah, blah. You talk to them, and I mean, of course, not all Muslims are radical, of course.
I think I've been sharing. There's been a lot of Muslims talking on Instagram, and most of them are going, "We don't want this. We came here for peace." And they're actually telling the Muslims This is what I've loved about it. The Muslims who are doing this are saying, "Hey, go back to the old country and fight it there. If you really care so
That's
much,
true.
take it there. That's where the battle is. Don't bring it here. This is our safe place. We want to bring our kids up here." So I've been seeing great unity. I haven't seen people on my feeds, and maybe other feeds, but on my
Because you
feeds.
think about it,
I
all
haven't
these.
seen people- yeah.
There have been many Islamic terrorist attacks around the world, and there's been some in this country. There was the famous one at the Lint Cafe, and there's been a number of ones. There was that guy who went on a stabbing rampage, killed that guy who worked at Pellegrini's or whatever. There's been some serious terrorist actions in this country. But has the Muslim community ever benefited from this? No. If anything, each attack essentially makes people dislike Muslims, makes people not trust them, makes people Islamophobic. And and it's not what the hell is wrong with being Islamophobic if these attacks are going on all the time? Should you not mistrust them? You know what I mean? Because it's just logical. If there's some group, believe me, if neo-Nazis were doing it, but of course they're not. Then this is why. And what did Albo say? He said the far right. I mean, imagine the gall after that attack, coming out and saying the far right is the problem.
Look, I got a video of it. Look, no, I got this.
Play that, mate.
This is the next one. But before we do, tell me how this isn't a form of terrorism. Now, I know we're joking, but this is it. We saw your meme step outside. This is happening in England, and I got this woman here.
Officers turned up.
Yeah.
I mean, that's completely ridiculous.
Yeah, I'd left my front door open.
So she got arrested for texting an insult about a man who attacked her.
I was waiting for my dad.
Well, you can play that later, but they had 11 police officers break into a house while she was in the bath. They came into the bathroom with her.
No, it's ridiculous. And, I mean, look, I don't know what new laws that the government wants to bring in, but they're talking about banning the phrase "from the river to the sea," which is something that pro-Palestinian people say.
Banning a phrase.
I don't like pro-Palestine.
Our leader.
Well, the assessments are that that is one of.
I'll say it again.
Follow on Ruben's question. Is radical Islam, in your view, the greatest domestic security threat Australia faces?
So in case you can't hear it, he asks, is Islamic terrorism the greatest threat we're facing?
Well, the assessments are that that is one of the issues that we're dealing with. But I want to deal with all of the threats.
Now, the way he does that, it's one off, but I want to deal with all of the threats. Yeah. Have you seen Cafe Lookout?
That's right. Have you seen Michael Greger? Have you seen Damo give a salute?
Extremist perversions of Islam leading to support for the ideology promoted by ISIS.
Oh, why isn't that playing? I'll see if I can get it to play again.
It's crazy.
People, we were having, we've been doing the internet the last few hours, no problem at all. As soon as we started the show, good boom.
They'll be all over this one time.
I
know
I'm
going to be
all of the threats, whether it be extremist perversions of Islam leading to support for the ideology promoted by ISIS, whether it be also concerned about the issue of sovereign citizens killing police.
Here we
Victoria
go.
And Queensland. I'm concerned about neo-Nazis thinking it's okay to march down our streets dressed in black, not worrying about their faces being covered, explicitly promoting that as well. Some of these things are not new. James Salim.
Anyway, it goes on and on.
On and on.
But the thing is, I think I've never seen the government so separated from the
reality.
People. And it's been going on because the people are going this way. Nah.
Yeah.
Port Arthur, let's be honest, with Port Arthur, we were innocent. Oh my God, what? They're killing so many kids killed. Let's take your guns. Yeah, we're like in shock. We handed them over. Ain't going to happen a second time. Now,
well,
coming out going.
Well, funnily enough, there's more guns around now. You know what I mean? Like, because you can actually legally own a gun if you,
The terrorist had 6 weapons.
I know, it's unbelievable, and they were like, 6? I mean, you would think that would be more important than pursuing these, neo-Nazi groups or Damo's Salute or whatever. You know what I mean? You think actually keeping an eye on these people and working out if they're going to go rogue. I mean, essentially, people with this kind of ideology who are Islamic should be deported. And even if they were born in Australia, they should have their citizenship revoked. I'm sorry. I think, that's the level of where we need to be. But I also don't. I'm not fond of the radical Zionism either. I'm not fond of what I've seen happen in Gaza.
Same.
It's horrible.
Horrendous.
It's horrible, and many of these
But what can we
groups,
do, Richard?
Jewish.
What can we do about it? It's there.
Well, tell them to shut the fuck up
They've been
on both sides. And if
they've
this is what
been
you said
killing each
before,
other since we were born, before we were born.
you should say, listen, if you're into that, go to Israel and defend Israel, or go to Gaza, exactly, bye, and we'll put you on as Pauline Hanson said, when we kick you out, I'll drive you to the airport myself. I'll throw my keys in. I'll drive any Muslim or any Zionist to the airport to get them out of the country as soon as possible. Because we don't want this conflict.
Flyer points.
And then what does the Liberal Party do? Because that was the reaction of Labor. What does the Liberal Party do? You had from John Howard to that new woman, Susan Ley. She goes, the problem is anti-Semitism. No, the problem is mass immigration. The problem is the radical Islam. And no one speaks of it. The only person who says it is Pauline Hanson. And of course, her stocks are going up and up because because we've basically imported bioweapons, which are these immigrants from these countries. These are human bioweapons that are going to attack us. And this is, just the beginning. You can see this kicking off all over the Western world, and it's terrible. It's a terrible, terrible situation. And the problem is mass immigration, and not the Liberal Party or the Labor Party will touch it.
Yeah, that's right. No, this is from ABC.
The real problem behind this massacre. Have a listen to the ABC's Laura Tingle talking about this.
Absolutely radicalised. They were targeting Jews. It is anti-Semitic, but we are ascribing all sorts of things, right?
Yeah, their actions are not based on their religion.
These remarks are absolutely appalling. They're deeply offensive. I think the ABC must unequivocally apologise. Journalists have an obligation to report the news impartially and accurately, and what she has said is so wrong on so many levels. To say this had nothing to do with religion when you've got extremist Islamists subscribing to an extremist ideology is just horrific. And this was a very significant Jewish festival, the first day of Hanukkah. So the ABC, from my perspective, has completely lost the plot. There's an ABC Act which requires them under law to be impartial, to be accurate.
Right, anyway, it goes on and on and on.
What they do is they keep the oven and window. They keep the oven and window. This is law, right? Basically, you can support Gaza maybe, or you obey the Zionists. But we can't have this other debate, which is like we don't want either part of it. Aussies don't want to support either of them. And we're told we have to support one or the other. If you're on the left, you've got to support Gaza. And if you're on the right, you have to support Israel. And it's like, no, we don't want into this poison dialectic at all. We want out of it. You know what I mean? And we want about to criticize both. We want about to say there are radical psychopaths on both sides that are giving all, the radicals on the Muslim side are giving all Muslims a bad name, and the radical Zionists are giving a lot of Jews a bad name. This is why it's happening. This is why you see, Islamophobia is on the rise, anti-Semitism is on the rise. This is because of the actions of psychopaths who are actually doing things. And you've got to remember, too, that what's been going on in Gaza, that's like 10 or 100 Bondi Beach things every day, mate. Think about that.
I hear. But the thing is, it's been happening over there since we were born.
Of course.
To me, there's nothing we can do except despair. You feel like, look, we're going to cut you off from the rest of the world until you can answer two questions.
They need a time out. They need a time out.
How much blood has to spill before your thirst for revenge is quenched? How many children do you have to bury before you go, okay, maybe there's another way? Maybe we could talk or something. Since there's no more children left to kill, that we're actually going overseas to kill overseas children. You know what I mean?
It's
Why
crazy.
not just try a different way? Or is it basically, no, one of us has to be eradicated and then we can talk?
The whole conflict is crazy. It's crazy on both sides, and it's sad, and it's terribly, terribly sad. And we just don't want to be. And it is pointless, like the Ukrainian war. It's pointless. It serves no point. It's not as you really think that the Jewish people could not get along with all the Arabs around them. They've got a lot of money. They could probably do the right thing and look after people, and they get along. But they don't want that, it seems. So, there you go.
Well, it's the other interesting thing though I saw about that Muslim cleric. He said they don't have the problem with radical Islam in those countries like Syria and stuff. That's what he's saying, Egypt and these places, because he's saying they've all left. The West is just taking the garbage, and they've been left behind. That was his statement. But you said that he's a Jewish dude. I don't know, but I thought that was interesting.
Well, look, I mean, obviously, one of the side effects of all these wars in the Middle East has been the influx of Muslim immigrants to our country. The majority of them we haven't vetted. We were taking immigrants from Iraq. When America and Afghanistan. I mean, a lot of these people who were taken, these were essentially hatchet men, either for Saddam Hussein or for the Taliban. These are people who cut off heads, and they're going to live next door to you in your leafy suburb, somewhere in Melbourne. Or in Sydney or wherever.
From another point of view, exactly to that, we also brought in a lot of South Africans, and a lot of them were the police and the ones who brutalized people there. So a lot of people who've come to Australia have dodgy past.
If they're white South Africans, we want them. We want them. The more the merrier. You know what I mean? Because we're going to have to get tough, ladies and gentlemen. They're the only ones who are going to have to teach us how to run the show. We want the white South African police. We want the Sandbox.
I set you up for that.
We want the Sandbox, mate. That straightens people out quick, smart.
I literally couldn't have handed it over to you any better. I couldn't have.
No, I've got to. You know me. I know you're on the peace and love trip, but you've got to have me, the dark side of the force. Occasionally.
Yin and yang, man. Yin and yang.
That's it. Yin and yang. It's yin and yang tonight at Cafe Monday.
I thought, well, we won't survive to Wednesday if I bring Richard on Monday. So I thought we'd give a week. But listen to the story of this woman if you haven't heard it. This is a woman in England, and she was arrested because she shared a text about a guy, an insulting text about the guy who attacked her. And this is what happened.
I was actually in the bath. And
at 11,
they opened the door themselves.
And just came in?
And came in.
And you were in the bath?
Yeah.
And what did they say to you?
Well, I heard my name, which was one female out of the lot of them.
And 10 male officers?
Yeah. And then I heard my name, and I thought, it might be my sister, because it didn't sound like someone who was... Because obviously I was upstairs in the bath. And then they just come up the stairs, and they didn't give me any privacy or anything. Like I had to...
You were naked?
Yes.
How did that make you feel?
Disgusted and really upset. I was crying my eyes out.
And what did they say to you? What did they say they were there for?
Well, I was just asking them, can they just leave the female officer, and can they please go downstairs? As obviously I was upset, and I had no clothes on, and they kind of wanted to watch me get changed, and I was very upset about that. In the end, they did send the males down the stairs, and the female officer sat with me. I was crying my eyes out. I was really upset. And then I said, well, what are you even here for? Because I was shocked. I was in utter shock. And she said, for malicious communications, hate crime and malicious communications. And I said, well, what for? And they said, we'll discuss that when we get to...
What she did is she was attacked by this guy, and she didn't post on Facebook. She did go on Twitter. She said in a private message to her friend, she said the F word for somebody gay. I mean, which is, we can say it. We've still got some freedom of speech here. The word is faggot that she used. And, for that, arrested, ladies and gentlemen, in a private communication. And this is why, this is where it's headed. I mean, this is 1984 in the UK. I mean, it's not even a joke anymore.
No, that's it. But
and you got men you got Muslim grooming gangs up in the north who are raping underage girls and getting like 6 months, and you're getting somebody who complains about it gets 2 years jail. You know what I mean? So this is the government being criminal, and this is a stage that's happened before. It happened in communism. That's one of the things is, once it reaches a certain level of totalitarianism that was ushered in through COVID, we all saw that they begin, because it all falls apart. If people can vote for Nigel Farage or Pauline Hanson or Donald Trump, who's going to say no to all this, right? Which all those three candidates will, this whole charade that they've been working a long time to put together falls apart. And that's why this kind of politics is the new black, is the grooviest thing on the planet at the moment, because it's the only way we're going to save ourselves and save our nations from, because it'll come here, and this is just the beginning. All this rubbish. We've got to protect this.
Can I show you it here? Watch this. It's already. I got sent this tonight. Watch this. 20-minute neighborhoods.
Yeah.
I'll stretch it down. So this is basically learn how we are creating inclusive, vibrant, and healthy neighborhoods.
Yeah,
and this is the Victorian government. And here it is. We said 15 minutes, but it's 20 minutes.
Yeah, they thought they'd give us an extra 5 minutes, so I've been generous, mate, This is the World Economic Forum, isn't it?
Yeah, man. And the digital ID, social credit score, cashless society, 20-minute cities.
It's coming, but there is a lot of...
It's not nirvana. It's...
this whole under 16 thing that's happened, obviously it hasn't really affected anyone I know. I know it's affected some people. It affected Robin.
Rob, no, Substack. I've had so many people contacting me all day. They can't get onto Substack.
There you go. It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
But about Substack is that's been the freest platform. We've had Rumble, but it's like a writing platform. There's so many great professors and intellectuals on there. And now
that's probably why they want to shut it up, mate. That's probably why they want to shut it up, because it's a place where you can actually write some things. And I know there's a lot of articles I've read at Substack over the years that are good. And it's unbelievable the world we're living in.
We're still on. I don't know why we're still on. Every time I go there, I expect to get age verification.
Maybe after tonight, you won't, mate. So
no. So if you got on my Substack, if we don't get on, I am not complying. So if anyone asks me for age verification, I'm not complying.
I can testify. Michael is over the age of 18. Many of you find that surprising. I know. Surely AI can work this shit out. It's got to have some positive uses, doesn't it? Surely. But anyway, no one I know is really. And actually, I do know a couple of people lost a Facebook account because they were using, they weren't using proper, whatever.
Oh, I got the record for it.
Yeah. So
I got the record.
10 years, mate. You got 10 years.
10 years, man.
Unbelievable.
Lisa, if you're watching, Lisa will tell us
You should sue, if you could, because apparently Facebook headquarters are in Ireland, of all places, or there is some.
Wow,
some people who have.
And 100,000 people and stuff like this.
Yeah. You can crowdfund it, get yourself $100,000, and off you go to Ireland. You can film it and just sue Mark Zuckerberg. Get your page back, mate. Because people have done it.
That's actually not a bad idea. I'll put it to some of anyone with money. Let's.
Yeah. Come on, this is a call out. We want $100,000, and with $100,000, I think the two of us could go. I think
Actually, if they think I'm leaving Australia, probably Asia would pay for it.
That's right. Hang on. If I was leaving Australia, Mossad might pay for me. So
Now, I had something interesting happen the other day. We're on a caravan park. There was or on a showgrounds. There was a woman next to us. Turned out to be a teacher.
Yeah.
Very happy with the state of affairs. Said her young teenage children are gloriously happy and positive about the future of Australia. And I said, oh, they must be living in denial then. And
they must be stupid.
So we didn't get on very well.
You got stupid kids, have you?
But what she said, this was really interesting. What she said was, I heard about you on 774 ABC radio.
Yeah.
I went, I said, anything good? She said, just the facts. I said, so nothing good.
Nothing good.
But I thought, hey, 774, you're talking about me. You haven't even kissed me. You haven't even.
Well, I've had a very busy week this week. I've got a bestseller. A fantastic book I've picked up in the bookstore this week, which is Goodbye Road by Mr. Michael Gray Griffith. And I actually got sent a couple of copies, and I do a little book market every now and I sold them both today, mate. So it's pretty good, isn't it?
Oh, really?
Yeah,
really?
Absolutely. Yeah, it's good. Thank you very much.
We should send you a box.
Send me some more. Seriously, they were popular. People were actually like, oh, wow. People know you, believe it or not. And I'd just like to say, this is great. And I like to agree with John Stapleton at the back. He says that in the introduction that Michael is Australia's greatest living historian who's going around documenting our times. And obviously, all of us have seen the odd essay pop up from Michael Gray Griffiths, get sent to us in our inbox as well at his Substack and various things.
Have you read anything but the back?
That's right. No, I've read. I found out that I didn't get much of a plug, and that Tom Vogel did. I'm most upset. I've been wanting to shine his head with a bit of polish, Boot polish into a Benny Hill, but no. So there you go. Next book, I better be thanked, or else I'm not reviewing it.
Sorry. I didn't
all right.
expect it to ever be published. That was John Stapleton. I was just
That's
shouting
all
about
right. Look, I know you love Tom more than me. That's all right.
I feel for Tom more than you. He's been going through a lot of worries.
Wow, he's not
People
so
are really
bad.
loving the book.
I like to
I'm
stir him.
really
I like
moved.
to stir him. He's not so bad. He's a
No,
good
he's a
bloke.
great guy. But people
Yeah, I
really
like to
love
stir
the
him.
book. I'm really moved. I'm really seriously amazed how it's selling. You know what I mean? So, yeah. So it's to say that basically the state cancelled me as a writer because I wouldn't.
Honestly, the book is
segregate
good enough
audiences.
that, I mean, I know this is self-published, but the book really is good enough. It should be published by Penguin or one of these things, because I think
John sort of published it with his, and then he published it with Upstream Press.
Yeah.
But then there's no marketing for it. There's no publishing extra company that can. He's got no money to.
I think
publish
people
it.
want to hear these stories.
Yeah.
RFK's book
Yeah.
has sold very well, and you've got books by what's the name of that woman? I can't remember her name.
Yeah, he's
Naomi Klein, is it Naomi Klein or the other one?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And we've changed it now to the Banned Book Company. So he's got his books on there. Paul Conlon has his book. So what people are buying, they're buying all the books.
Yeah.
So we set up, what we do is we market the book. So if you're a writer, you've written a good book and you can't get it marketed anywhere because, well, you're on our side.
It's the Banned Book Company.
The Banned Book Company. And people are coming in and they're buying groups of books. And
Well, I've got a collection of my own essays. If you really want to publish something,
Richard, put it together, man. I think that's great. And John is brilliant at he edited the book, so he puts it all together and properly and stuff. So he was the one that did it. So
no, this is great. No, I've been dipping in all day because I've been working today, and just it's just great, reading some of these essays, and names pop up from everyone from the freedom movement, and of course there's just too much Tom Vogel, but what can you do?
But yeah, hey, you got a bookstore. If they're selling there, man, I'll send them down. No worries.
They're selling everywhere, mate. I think it's a hot item. People want to see. People really are a sucker for alternative opinions. People love it, and to have a reference book like that is fantastic for people. Collecting your writings, and so 5 stars, mate. Well done.
Sweet. I'm really moved. I can't believe it's selling on a. That's.
Yeah, why not, mate? Why not?
There are people buying it from the bus. So we have a collection in the bus, and they turn up and stop and want to buy it. And it's lovely. You sign it there. You can sign it personally to them. And you just sign something positive like we're all fucked.
Yeah, I think I've got a message here actually. Very nice. Autographed copy. Very good, mate. Private message. So very nice.
Yeah, but it is. And I think your essays will go nuts because I'm telling people, there's David, who's sort of the more lefty intellectual than you, but still deep conspiracy theorist. I mean, he's the deepest rabbit. I can't believe he hasn't found the rabbit. He's gone so deep. He's
gone so deep. Yeah, he must have found it, and he doesn't eat it. He's a vegetarian. But his son eats meat.
He's got it at home.
He's got it at home. He's growing it. He's taking care of it. Yeah, look, David's written many essays. David has written many. Yeah, well, it's funny. When I first met David 35 years ago, he was kind of like reasonably left-wing, and obviously I was coming from the right direction, and we just always hit it off. And what's funny is we've both been able to see our points of view, and there are a lot of things that he said I wasn't down with, and a lot of things I said he wasn't down with. Now we're both pretty much on the same page about so much that we're somewhere in some kind of crazy middle somewhere. Going everything's fucked. But still, we can still do shows like this. I mean, things are bad, but we can fight back, and that's why I think it's important. We say we don't want hate or anger, but maybe we do occasionally need these emotions to motivate us to.
I think you have a very valid point there. I really do, and there's more
to get angry, like that network. You're a damn human being. God damn it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like in that show Network, I want you to go to your window and say, I'm mad and I'm not going to take this anymore, kind of thing, because I think we need people to get angry, mate, and really say to the government.
People to get angry. I totally get angry, but I'm just going to put this up. I got all the no-goat shows into the Sam One Rumble channel, And what's fascinating about it, if you go back, they are really funny. I love them. They especially with the Robin was good, Ryan was great, all these people. But
look, I'm sure you could probably do transcript.
The initial four were effing hilarious.
Yes, you, me, David, and Damo,
David, and me,
the gold team, mate. The gold team.
Oh, it was great.
Very good. And you could probably get transcripts of all these shows we did and publish that. You know what I mean? And look, Tom Vogel. I mean, again, to bring up Tom, he could do all his transcripts from all these shows. I mean, any show. Robin could do the same. All the shows you have on Cafe Locked Out. And the good thing about having a physical book is, this becomes real. It's real world, mate. You
can't censor it.
Exactly, mate. They won't be able to memory hole it if you've got a copy of the book sitting on your shelf, mate. They don't come in and physically, wipe out the words with, like the liquid paint.
To tell people, so what I did was I was at the, there's the one in there called the Steps of Solace. I was just in the action in Victoria early on, and you'd interview people all day, but then there'd be some residue of stories that had nothing. So I wrote them into an essay and I threw them on Substack and forgot about them. And I just went around Australia, Cret and Wendy would be in the van and I'd just be in my swag and I'd just write an essay from that day. And it was like a travel diary, really. I was just seeing things I was seeing. And it was John who approached me, John Stapleton, the publisher, and he said, mate, you've got to put these together. And he sort of started collating them all and putting them in order and stuff like this. But the money we needed to properly publish it would be like, who knows? And there's just no point. So unfortunately,
well, it's fine to do it like this, but I think it has potential. And submit what you've got, submit it to some publishers. You might find someone brave enough. Whoever publishes RFK, people like that. Whoever publishes people like Naomi Klein, these kind of people.
Yeah, it's not a bad idea.
They might bite, and you might get a nice little 20 grand advance or something. So look, it's an exciting. It is a very exciting time. It's been an interesting year for movies and culture.
Oh my God, I've got to tell you this. This is gonna. So for the first 4.5 years of me doing this, or 4 years, or 3 years, whatever, however long it's been, what used to happen is when we turn up at gatherings, when people were just watching me on screen, I'd come out and they'd all go, "Wow, you're so tiny. You're so..." Every fucking time, no matter where I went, you'd have people going, "You're really short." And they like shock. Like in my head, I must have been like a 10.
You're not that short, mate. You're not like.
No, but that's the way they said it every fucking time. Now they don't say that anymore because they all know I'm short. Now they say, I've had it twice. I've had it twice in the last 2 days, but I have it all the time. And this makes us giggle. So I tell Kelly, and we're both giggling this. What they say now is, well, you know what, Michael? I love what you do. I think you're fantastic. Pause. No matter what people say about you.
Yeah.
Huh?
Wow.
No matter what.
You've been subject to a bit of a smear.
And you're going, excuse me? So.
You've been subject to a bit of a smear, as I have, so,
Yeah, but there's another smear going
I've mentioned your name around certain people, and some of them, I just go, shut up. Michael's a good bloke. That's all there is to it. That's all there is to it, mate. Michael's a good bloke,
No, but what's funny though?
Is he an angel? Is Michael an angel? No.
To be an angel.
He isn't.
Oh my
God.
This is how heaven works. This is how you think. Look, can you believe? Say you got to heaven, right?
Yeah.
You're in heaven.
A long shot with me.
I reckon you'd survive in heaven if you managed to get through, which you could, because I think you're far greater than what you think. So, but say you did. Say you were there for like 3 days, walking around in your white robes or floating around in your white robes, feathers, wings on your back, playing the harp, and everyone you meet, you have to come up to and tell them sincerely, "I love you." After 3 days, you'd rip your wings off, fly out the back door, go down to hell, run in the back door of hell, and go, "Quick, someone, fuck me in the ass! I can't take any more love."
I don't know if I'd be saying that, but I think I like the idea that if there was a hell, that somehow if you got into heaven, you could maybe rescue the odd person. You know what I mean? Go down there and sneak them out, smuggle them in. I wonder if you get in trouble for that.
It doesn't make any sense, does
it? But one of the interesting things, if there is a heaven, it would be basically to be like things like the Library of Alexandria would exist in heaven, and it doesn't exist anymore. And you could read these 10,000 volumes that were lost to antiquity. We know I think about 5 or 6 plays by Aeschylus and Euripides, 10 plays
Would you
by
be
Euripides.
disappointed if
They
most of
wrote
it was
200?
porn?
They wrote 200, mate.
Richard,
And yeah.
with the Alexander Library, would you be disappointed if you walked in there and most of it, like 80% of it, was porn?
Well, I'm sure some of it would be, but that's one of the great tragedies in my view, the loss of the Library of Alexandria, which if you watch a show called 2 great shows deal with that topic. One is Kenneth Clark's Civilization, which is 10 hours everyone should watch. And that's the importance of Western civilization. If people wonder, if you go, well, what does Richard always go on about Western civilization? Why is it worth protecting? Watch a show by Kenneth Clark called Civilization, not the new one that's woke with somebody with blue hair talking about, how Ethiopians made Western civilization. That's bullshit.
And
it's the old one where it's all European people, mate, Kenneth Clark. And the other show is Cosmos by Carl Sagan.
Oh, my God, Cosmos. Oh, I was so in love with his voice. I used to watch. My family didn't give a shit. They were like, what are you watching this show for? I was obsessed by it.
Both those shows make an old cynic like me, cry at moments, and in the beauty of the revelation of the glory of European man and woman.
The thing is with you, and this is true. The thing is with you now. I mean, you've read all the intellectuals, all the philosophers, but now is the time for intellectuals and philosophers, and that's what you've been doing with it. You know what I mean? So we could start documenting it down in writings of what you think and what you're seeing. It's almost like why you're here, because you're right here and you're brilliant at it. You are staggeringly brilliant at it. That's why, I mean, even though everyone calls me short, literally every third person come along and go, you got to get Richard off your show. I go, I'm not getting Richard off my show because he's great. I'm not doing it. Fucking so often, it's just like, yeah, whatever, And
well,
David,
that's a good review in a way. If they want to get rid of me, If they want to get rid of me, that's often a good review because obviously I'm saying something that upsets the right people. So, obviously, I mean, I love philosophy. We could talk for philosophy for hours. I love doing that. Philosophy is the reason to exist, really. And, I love certain philosophers and, that's what I do in all my spare time. Not all of it, but a lot of it. Is just read on various things. Sorry?
Anything new you've read?
Anything new? What have I been reading at the moment? I'm reading. Well, it's funny. I'm reading 2 books at the moment. One on Alex Karp, the guy behind Palantir, who is, building this kind of deep state surveillance thing. Like, part of this guy is interesting though because he's a friend of Peter Thiel's. He's a friend of Elon Musk. Not all of him is evil, but there's definitely an evil part of him. And then I'm reading a book on Bez from the Happy Mondays, who used to just take a lot of ecstasy and cocaine and have a good time in the 90s. And there's somehow a nice balance there between this kind of hedonistic rat bag and this, deep state, maybe CIA, Palantir thing, I'm fascinated by the, things like that. But philosophy rise, I always read Heidegger and Nietzsche and Hegel and, a guy called Emile Cioran I've been reading of late. I read the new book by Michel Houellebecq called Annihilation. It's about 600 pages long. Michel Houellebecq, it's spelled, his name is spelled Houellebecq. It's pronounced Houellebecq, but it's pronounced Houellebecq. And it's one of the most disturbing books I've read in a long time. Oh yeah. Like it just fucks you up.
About it. It's basically saying we're on the road to annihilation.
Well, sure. That's part of the theme in a way.
Nice.
It's just, it's set in France. It's set in France. This guy, he's got all his family stuff going on. And he works for like a Macron kind of figure. And there's this weird terror group that are doing these weird satanic things and producing videos of terror attacks and people getting guillotined that look real but aren't real, that are like deep fake, but at a level that, is just unheard of, So it's a very strange novel. I don't really want to talk about it too much.
It's a novel. It's a novel, okay.
Annihilation, yeah. And it's just, it kind of is a bit slow in the middle, but if you stick with it, it's got an absolutely devastating ending. So there you go.
Wow. Okay, Annihilation. This is what we should be doing books. So that's a popular dumb book, isn't it?
Yep.
Yeah.
Yep. That's out from whoever publishes Michelle Welbeck. But I love all his books. You know, he wrote a book called Submission, probably around 15 years ago, that was about what will happen when France becomes taken over by Muslims, which is obviously demographically where it's heading. And it's set it was set about 20 years in the future, about 10 years ago. And you know, women have to wear the veil, and you know, Jews are no longer safe in France and have to flee to Israel. And like, this is like, you know, probably going to happen. You know what I mean? So, you know, it was very controversial because he got accused of being racist, of course, and blah, 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 blah. But, you know, he's not really that way. He's
anything you do now to question the government, you get labelled racist, misogynist. Did you see the thing they did? That pissed me off. Let me see if I can. What's wrong with my mouth?
Pull that up, mate.
I just saw this. It's just I thought I was out of things, but this thing upset me more than anything today. I thought this was disgusting, and I'm pretty sure I shared it. Yeah, here it is. Okay, so this is the front of the West Australian newspaper. Okay, watch this.
Yep.
And before I post it, I have to say to the journalists who did this, you are seriously disgusting and need psychological help.
Yep.
Here we go. How we stop this pig becoming a monster. Call for DV lessons at schools to address the menace of toxic masculinity.
What a load of rubbish.
Front page. The reason we have a high suicide rate in the country, one of the main reasons for suicide amongst men is shame. And that is the state shaming our young men. Women out there, if you've got a son, I recommend you call the West Australian and you rip him a second arsehole. And fathers, now is the time to speak. This is absolutely, utterly disgusting.
Yeah, they don't want strong men, basically. They don't, because that basically strong men will defeat this agenda. You know, this slavery.
But they don't care about hurting your boys in it. Now,
you know, and I know you say you want to love everything, you know, but I don't want to love that kind of agenda. I want to fucking hate it, mate. You know, and I want to hate the people behind it. I'm sorry.
No, neither do I, yeah.
They deserve to be hated. No, I'm not talking about, you know, I mean, you and I are pretty nice guys, and we get along with most people we meet, particularly if they want to engage in conversation. But there is an evil agenda, you know, and we've seen it from COVID to all these terror attacks to these wars, these you know, pushing these agendas on children. This is all fucked, and we need to hate it. And you know, and we shouldn't be afraid of hate. They're always going about hate speech. Fuck off. Okay, we need to hate these things. Okay, and you know, we're going to need to say some things that people aren't going to always like. And it's like, oh, someone got offended. Like, I don't care if anyone's offended. You can't go through life not being offended, mate. Anyone watches this show's going to be offended. You know, I'd say, oh, hang on, some community, the Muslim community was offended. This community was no, fuck off. Okay, you know, we need to offend everybody, not because we want to be arseholes, because we just need to maintain this wonderful civilization that we've all been part of for, you know, a long time, most of our lives, and generations before that, for you know, hundreds of years, thousands of years, if you want to go back. So that's the importance.
Now, Damien Richardson, I was going to send Damo an invite to see if he'd pop on, but I don't have his email in here unless he's got a new email. Either way, or do I address it to one of the jails? Do I address it to one of the jails and see?
Well, the decision came in. Did you hear that? He has to just do some. He has to just do community service or you know,
Jewish.
He has to go and look at a pile of shoes in the Holocaust Museum.
Jewish ass kissing. Let's be honest. He has to do some Jewish ass kissing. He's got to. Let's be honest.
Got to kiss a rabbi's bottom, mate.
Not putting shoes down, not putting Damo down, but that's the actual fact. The verdict is.
This is true.
Jewish ass kissing. That's it.
Yeah, a little bit, just a little bit, mate. Yeah, just a tiny bit.
Little bit. You know, no tongue.
And I'm sure, knowing Damo, he is not going to enjoy that. Well, but we shouldn't laugh because I mean,
knees haven't been good since the marches. All that marching's fucked his knees up. You know, he's never been good. So getting down on them is not going to be good.
It's ridiculous. You know, I mean, all these.
Have Damien Richardson's friggin' email. Do you have it?
No, I don't, mate.
Yeah.
But anyway, mate, you know, I mean, get him on for a special show, maybe. But also, too, I mean, I think to some extent they've silenced him. You know, they've got him on some kind of good behavior.
Is anyone else we haven't insulted? tonight?
I don't know if he can, come on and really, I don't know. It's up to him.
No, I wouldn't put him on the spot.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So, it's a terrible thing that's happened. But as somebody said, this could happen in Melbourne. This could happen, at any kind of event.
It's coming here. It is coming here. If you don't think what's happening in England isn't coming here, you're bonkers.
Yeah,
and the only people who don't care are the people that just, I don't know, they're happy with it. Because one thing you said prophetically from the first time we started doing these things is there's a lot of people out there who love dictatorships, who love living under a dictatorship, who love totalitarianism. And you said that's one of the secrets no one wants to talk about, is there's a group of people that love it.
And there's a show I'd like to recommend to people at the moment. It's on SBS, SBS On Demand or whatever. It's called Mussolini, Son of a Century. This was a book that dealt with the early days of the rise of Mussolini, who obviously he invented fascism in 1919 after World War I ended. And it's actually really, really fascinating. It's about 8 hours in mini-series. The quality is like The Godfather. It's that good. And
Wow.
It's extraordinary. And it's told from Mussolini's perspective. It said, listen, you've heard about me, you've heard about fascism, but by the end of this series, you too will be a fascist. You too will love it. And you'll be with me. Because I'm inevitable. And you think I've gone away. I'm here right now. And that's sort of how it opened.
That's a great way to end it. Anyway, I've got this headbanging song to finish off with you tonight, unless you've got someone else you want to insult before we go.
No, I'm not insulting anybody.
You're brilliant tonight. You're staggering.
No, thank you, guys. And it's always good chatting. And, love this book, mate. Send me some more copies.
Thanks, brother. Thanks. Do you know that was taken? They had that sign, Australian Under Free. That was taken a minute or two before they shot Matt Lawson. First person to be shot by police. First protester to be shot since Eureka Stockade. So,
next time, sit in the studio and do a kind of GQ kind of number.
I'll bring a baseball bat. So it's like
I'm gonna have to be your manager, mate.
Okay, this is the head banging. Get ready for it. Get ready to bang your heads. This is especially for Richard. This is a song promoting hate. It'll stick in your head. Sorry about that. See you going. Good night.
See ya.
Good
night.
night.
After your brother died, you didn't have to bother with me. I'd fucked up again until every bridge should have been in flames. But as I was packing up what little remained, the phone rang and it was you. And although you never spoke the actual words, what you said to me was, Michael, always believe in love. Oh, Michael. Watch you walk down my streets together, you in the front of your man, lost in your boy. You're speaking a language of pausing across the road or sorting the shopping items each will carry home. And although you have never noticed me, I can hear you both whispering, and you are whispering to me, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Oh, Michael. Always believe in love. You were singing on the stage with your sisters, dancing to some rainbow fairy tale. Your voices were all small and out of time. Still we pressed record and held up our candle phones, for despite the flames of our burning world, we could all hear the angels singing. Oh, Michael. 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 Facebook. There's a gorilla loving a fallen human child, and we're all wrestling with shadows while wondering if inside the dark we will finally find the flower that perpetually grows. Oh, Michael, in that garden our gods call. Oh, Michael, oh, Michael, oh, Michael, oh, Michael, oh, Michael, oh, Michael. Always believe in